Well, hello everyone. Welcome to our new episode of our podcast. And today we have a special guest. It's a data queen of Dubai, a person who is related to the real estate market over here and overall for many years. And I'm sure out of this podcast, you guys will be able to get a lot of useful information that you can use on your daily basis with your clients. Lynnette, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you, Dennis. So happy to be here.
Can you please introduce yourself to our audience? Mainly our audience are real estate agents.
Yes.
And can you please tell what a little bit about your background and what you're doing now?
Yeah, sure. So I've been here for 18 years, originally from the States. My background is technology, specifically real estate technology. So what I focused on here in Dubai was the open real estate data projects. When I arrived, there was no real estate data available for anyone, whether you were B2B or B2C. It was very scarce, to say the least, especially for B2B. So I worked on various different projects and initiatives on the private sector as well as with the government on the public sector, and brought the open real estate data to Dubai. I created multiple B2B real estate data platforms. First one was Property Monitor. Second one was Data Finder with Property Finder. And then the Open Data Initiative or Real Estate Data Initiative with the Dubai Land Department. My team also created Muasher, which is the first official house price index for the city of Dubai. And that's just basically what I've been working on more or less for the last 18 years.
Amazing. Just out of curiosity. So you are from States.
Yes.
And what brought you to Dubai 18 years ago? Like it's not, I will not ask this question today, well, maybe still today, but 18 years ago, Dubai was a completely different city. So how did you end up here?
So I came here on holiday.
You came here on holiday 18 years ago?
Yeah, I know it's a very strange...
What else did you have on your table as an option to consider?
Actually, I was traveling with friends who wanted to come here and look at real estate. So they were invited by the Palm. So Nikhil invited them by the Palm because they were interested in some of the islands in the world.
Oh, you have very good friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we came and we stayed at the Burj Al Arab. And it was just recently.
You stayed in the Burj Al Arab immediately. Oh, yes.
So I came to Dubai for the first time, and my first experience was the Burj Al Arab. So you can only imagine.
Yeah.
Of course, I was fascinated because real estate is my other passion. So technology and real estate. So when I came and I saw all the cranes and I saw all the construction and I saw the Palm being built, we had a amazing personalized VIP tour of the sales offices in the island and what was going to be built in the world islands. So it was just amazing, and I was mesmerized and I was sold, and I was in my mind. So at that time in the States,
I have goosebumps right now, like to have this experience and see all this.
Yeah. So at that time in the States, I was actually a broker owner in Las Vegas. So I had my own real estate brokerage. So I took a break from technology, and I decided to work on my passion at that time, which was real estate buying and flipping properties. So I got my license and I eventually opened up a brokerage. So I was very much deep into the real estate brokering world. So when I came here, I had my real estate agent hat on. I didn't have my technology hat on. However, and I believe we stayed here for about 2 weeks. And 2 weeks into it, I was just trying to look for resources about properties and how much properties were and where the data was, and nothing existed. Property Finder was a magazine. Bayut did not exist, and Dubizzle, as always, was a horizontal. So I couldn't find any data. I couldn't find any information. I was like, how could this be possible? This is a booming city. There's construction everywhere. How do people buy?
Well, there is an elephant in the room that I need to address. Like, did you guys bought the islands or no?
No. So it wasn't me. So it was my friends.
Yeah, friends. I mean, I assume they invited you to be like a broker, or they asked you to give you an opinion.
To give an opinion. So they were very close family friends. So they invited me just to be like an advisor to give them my opinion, because it was obviously it would have been a very big purchase. They decided not to buy, and the reason was multiple. So instead,
sorry, which year was it?
2005.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 2005. So they decided not to buy. Number one, because they couldn't find, or I couldn't find any information or data. And of course, you're building a palm in the middle of the ocean, which is being dredged, and world islands, which doesn't exist. So of course you couldn't find like for like comparables. It was just very out of this world. And our entire trip here was, if you can imagine, it was just unbelievable. So it kind of actually scared them. And thank God they didn't buy any of the
Well, still, if you buy 2005 and you sell 2007, it's okay.
No, if they would have bought on the palm, it would have been a fantastic investment, of course.
Yep.
But for them, that was too little. They were thinking much bigger.
Oh, got it.
And instead, they just bought a bunch of penthouses in Miami, which is where they're from.
And
So,
still, I'm sure they made a good money
They did.
on that purchase. Okay, so yeah, you came to Dubai, you had this incredible experience, and you have a brokerage in Las Vegas.
I did, yeah.
So what made you stay here?
So when I moved, so this was 2006. Obviously, it was for the opportunity. So it was a virgin market. There was no data, and this is then when so as soon as I moved, I put my technology hat back on. So it was purely focusing on real estate technology. I did not do brokering, and also at that time, I started my family. So I have two daughters. They're 11 and 14 years old now. But then that's when I decided to start my family, and I kind of took a break, if you want to call it like that, while still keeping my fingers on the market, trying to figure out what to do. Then I started my very first Proptech startup. And the word Proptech didn't exist back then. So this was 2007, and it was called Easy Estate, which was a real estate portal, a B2C portal, like Property Finder,
for the local market over here.
Yes.
A very difficult market to be in.
Extremely, extremely, especially during that time. The financial crisis was happening, and it's, you burn a lot of cash.
Out of curiosity, did you run it on your own, or you you raised money to run this portal?
So I had a business partner, and he was the one that brought in the funds, and I was the one that brought in the technology.
Who was your main competitor back then? Dubizzle, I assume, yeah?
No, at this time it was Property Finder. So Property Finder and Bayou were both up and running at that time.
Oh, already?
Yeah. Yeah, this was 2007.
Okay.
2008, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so you have this portal, the crisis happened.
It was happening, yeah. And then, this was very early in the startup days. So you didn't have many resources. You didn't have the support. You don't have the knowledge. We were burning a lot of cash. And then at this time, we just decided to close shop. And I had my first daughter at that time. And I just said, okay, I'm just going to kind of take a break.
Yeah. It's a difficult decision to close the business, but sometimes it happens. So you've been a consultant to the Dubai Land Department for many years on a data. How did it happen? Did they approach you, or you tell them, guys, I'm here and I know this stuff. I know how to make it work. Like, how did it happen?
Yeah, I did. I said hi.
So you came to them.
I'm from the U.S. and I think I can help you. So yeah, it was very much me going. So when I realized that there wasn't any real estate data for the public, B2C, I was like, okay, the single source of truth is the land department, Dubai Land Department. So I went to the land department and I just started literally going from floor to floor. So from first floor, second, third, fourth, and then 4, 3, 2, 1, up and down every single day for months. And then just, everyone's very approachable there. I mean, you spent a lot of time there as well. So way back in the day, they were even more approachable because they didn't have many individuals from outside the land department visiting the land department. So I would just, walk into the offices, introduce myself, ask them what they did there. And then eventually I met individuals who then introduced me to other individuals and said, oh, you want to do something with data, go to this department. And then eventually I got to the right people. And at this time, I was working for a consultancy here. And this is where I started Property Monitor, which is a B2B real estate data platform today. And at that time, we wanted to obtain the data to populate the database along with the other data sets that we were using. So this was the goal at that time. And we were able to achieve it. So it was, but it took years. It didn't take months. It took years. And then eventually, as I built their trust and they realized that we can do something with the data, we can utilize it, and we can make sense out of it, we started to do reports for them. So the first report that came out, it was called the Deraya report. This was like in 2016, and it was in partnership with JLL at that time. And then when they saw that report came out, we then continued to have that conversation to obtain the data to do other things with it. At this point, I moved to Property Finder. So while at Property Finder, my main goal and initiative there was to create Muasher, which is the first official house price index for Dubai. And when I was speaking to the land
Very
department,
difficult task, by the way. Because we have a new projects, old projects, apartments
Yes.
facing this side, apartments facing that side. Even if we take one project, the price per square foot can vary big time. Depends on where the view goes.
Yes. So we have at Property Finder, we had an amazing data science team, and it was headed by an amazing data scientist. And we, of course, so in Dubai real estate, in real estate indices around the world, most of them are built on, it's called the Hedonic regression model. And this is a methodology that's used within data science to build real estate indices. And then within the Hedonic regression model, there's three different variations. You have Fisher, Las Perlas, and the Pache model. And then, so I went deep into it. I spent years doing this. So within these three, each have the characteristics of very specific markets. For example, the Fisher model, which is the one that we chose for Dubai, is very good for markets that have many dynamic characteristics, such as ready or secondary market and off-plan market. And then the other two were for markets that were very volatile, and then the other one was for a very conservative type of a market. So obviously we chose the Fisher method, which did fantastic here. We did the modeling for I would say after we got the data, it took a good 9 months to do the modeling, get it right, clean, make sure the data was clean, get all of the outliers out. We spent this 9 months working directly with the land department. We had staff sitting at the land department. We were working with their chief economist there. And we were able to create this fantastic real estate index. Mm-hmm. And it's still running today.
And is it B2B or B2C as well?
So the real estate index is used by both.
Okay.
And it's the same in every single real estate market around the world. So you have your B2C component where you have the reports that come out once a month for the index. And then, of course, from the B2B side, you have the consultancies as well as the central bank and IMF. You utilize it.
And so agents can find it on Property Finder, right? And the customers?
Yeah, anyone can find it on Property Finder. You can find it on the Dubai Land Department today.
Okay, and looking on the index, like index is maybe the easiest graph that you can take a look and kind of make some predictions. But what kind of predictions can you make based on the information that is in front of you in the form of the index? So
the index is very high level. So the index that we created was for residential. And then there's another one for commercial that was done by JLL. But for the residential index, it just tracks the transaction value or your index value over a series of time. And it gives you a number based on your base year and your baseline. So this is where it gets a little bit complicated for the average consumer because they're like, okay, our base year was 2019. And the base value was 0. So if you look at the index, it's, might have gone up by 10 points, for example, or 11 points, or down by a certain amount. And people look at that and they're not seeing median values. They're not seeing average price per square foot. So for B2C, it might be a little bit on the difficult side. They just see the movement. But B2B, this is where it gets tracked by typically the consultancies and government. It's probably used more by government here. Consultancies and B2C. So B2C still looks at the portals, and consultancies today look at the data platforms.
So, like when you came here and you were trying to find some data to make a decision about is it it's good to buy something or not? Is it good to enter the market? So, at which what kind of indications you were trying to find out to make a decision about the purchase?
I just wanted comparables. Very basic. So as a consumer, when I was looking to rent an apartment here, when I first arrived, I wanted to know how much it costs to rent an apartment in this area, in this building. Did not exist. Data just at all did not exist. Then when I went to look for an apartment, the agent was citing a price and a certain particular number of checks, which was at that time 1 check. And I asked her, I said, what is the comparables in the building? And she looked at me with a very blank face, not understanding what the word comparable meant. So I was just looking for very, very basic data, did not exist. And I was just thinking, well, how do people transact here? They're just going by pure opinion and just face value of what is being told to them by the owners or the real estate agents. And for me, that was not acceptable.
Okay, and like right now we are in the market that was quite active for the last few years, yeah. And let's say there is like a client that is asking the agent to provide him some data about what is happening on the market. So what do you think the agent should provide to the client to help him to make a right decision about the purchase, to buy or not to buy?
So this is really, really important. And there's various tools out there for the agents so number one, creating a comparative market analysis report. So you want to look at the particular unit that they're buying within a building, within an area. So you want to see what has sold in that building, exactly like the unit. So let's say a 2-bedroom that they're looking for based on the views that they have as well. What is the like for like that has sold over the last 6 months? In Dubai, especially today, look at only the last 6 months. You don't want to look at what happened last year this time because that comparable will be outdated. Even the last 3 months. And then at the same time, it's nice to look at other comparable buildings in the surrounding area with the similar type of view to see what they're selling for. You want to collate all this data for your client, and you want to obviously give them the best advice as far as the value of that unit that they're currently asking for, what you as an agent would advise them to offer for the offer price, and where you think that unit can appreciate in the next year, looking at the data. As well,
help us to come up with this number. So obviously clients are asking agents, what do you think will be appreciation over there? So based on the data, like I have analysis of the last 6 months, how would you advise approach this question when the client is asking, like, what do you think will be for how much it will appreciate or not appreciate?
So for appreciation, that's a different set of data to look at. So, and it goes by area, honestly. So let's say Dubai Marina. So what I would do is I would look at a building, look at that type of unit in the building, and look at how it has appreciated over the last, let's say, 3-5 years here in Dubai. And I will look at that trend. Then I will look at Dubai Marina trend overall. So, and you have the various different data platforms where you can do this on. I personally use Readin because it's the most comprehensive one. So if you go on Readin, for example, you can track Dubai Marina. You'll have a line there, and then you can pick your building. So let's say Princess Tower. So you see Princess Tower and you see how the average price or the median price has trended over the last, let's say, a period of 5 years. This is the type of information that I would be sharing with the client. And I would literally bring my laptop to a meeting with the client so that they can see in real time the data themselves with their own eyes, as well as if they have any questions that I might not have pulled within the data, I would be able to show them as well. So you're looking at that trending line of Dubai Marina, then you're looking at the trending line of Princess Tower. Now, let's say over the last 5 years, their average appreciation has been 10%. Let's just use that number. What I would then say is then I would then look at the supply coming into Dubai Marina. Currently today, there's 6,000 units under construction. So very, very minor because there's no more plots available in Dubai Marina. So in theory, the values should retain because you're not going to have a lot of supply coming into the area. And it is still a very popular area for residents and tourists. And then depending on any other information that might be valuable to that client. So maybe they're looking to rent eventually the apartment. Maybe they want it for Airbnb or maybe they want it for themselves. So then I would just look at that time period and to say, okay, in the last 5 years, it appreciated 10%. You can conservatively, you don't have a crystal ball, but you do want to give them some kind of indication. You can say, look, based on how Dubai is growing, the population, the GDP, of course, you need all of this data and stats as well. And they're very easily.
An agent can get this information.
So population you can get from Dubai Statistics Center. GDP, you can get also from the Ministry of Economy, but you can also Google it and go to the news reports and you look at what the IMF predictions are, various other things. Just make sure to get it from credible sources. This is very important. Don't listen to what other people say. Don't what I'm saying today, verify it. Go and do your research and verify the information that I'm saying. So if I say the population grew by 100,000 every year since COVID, you can easily go to Dubai Statistics Center and see this data. So don't take face value what people say, because that's one issue that I see in this market today, is that a lot of individuals and agents, they hear a number on a podcast or, they read something in the newspaper and it's not necessarily true or accurate. So that's number one. And then, GDP, same thing, IMF, as well as Department of Economy. And then the real estate data you get from the data platform that you're using. And then you can safely say, okay, based on these factors, I can predict that Dubai Marina will stay stable or have an appreciation value of anywhere between 5 to 10%.
Lynnette, I just came up with one question. I just now understood that in case if I'm working with some fund and I'm trying to sell a big asset, it's really useful to have a person who knows the data that well. Do you provide some kind of analytics to the agents if they want to work with you on some deals, or it's not something that you are doing?
It's not something that I do, but for agents that I know well, they do come for me for this advice. And then they also ask me to speak to their clients as well, especially their high net worth individual clients or clients who are buying a lot of properties or large assets. Mm-hmm. I do provide this service, but it's usually as a favor because someone asks, mm-hmm. but not as a paid service, no.
Got it. And what could be some red flags that you are trying to find to see that maybe the market will slow down, or maybe there will be some issues in the future, if there are any that you can consider?
This is a very good question. So when you're looking at the data, yes, real estate transactional data from Dubai Land Department is very important. It is that base of the data that you're looking at. However, you need to look at the other data sets. You need to look at the listing data from the portals. So, for example, the data platform that I use, Redin, they have the listing data from Property Finder and Bayut. You need to look at the average price per square foot, the median price value, how it has been trending. Because in the transactional data that you're seeing from the Dubai Land Department, there's a 4 to 6 month lag of what is actually really happening in the market today.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because today, when you are negotiating a deal as a real estate agent, it takes anywhere between, if there's a mortgage, about 3 to 4 months to close. Then once it closes, it goes into the transactional data. And then by the time you look at that transactional data, it's another month after that. Yeah. So I say a 4 to 6 month lag. And this is really important.
4 to 6. I thought 46.
No, 4 to 6 months lag. Yeah. 6, yeah. Now, what I always say to real estate agents is that you guys, real estate agents, are sitting on a pot of gold of the real estate data that they have at their brokerage, at their company, because this is the real time data of what is actually happening on the streets today. So, when we come out with our reports, there is a lag, which is why I look at the listing data. I also look at days on market. I look at the supply data. I look at GDP. I look at population growth. I look at everything. So it's not just the Dubai Land Department transaction data. It's a lot of data sets that you need to look for to see if there's any flags, whether they're green flags or red flags. And this is very important because if you just look at the transaction data today, for example, you're like, oh, the market is doing great, it's growing, there's no signs. But that's not the truth. We there are some red flags or signs if you look at the other data sets to say, wait a minute, there is going to be a change, there's going to be a shift in the market. Probably will happen by the end of this year, next year, and you're going to start to see a very different dynamic than what we're used to seeing in the data today. Now, if you speak to the real estate agents today and you ask them the question, how's the market doing? They're going to tell you a few things. They're going to tell you luxury market is dead. They're going to tell you that it's shifted from a seller's market to a buyer's market. They're going to tell you that listings are sitting on the market longer than before. Now, if you look at the data, last year, it was 30 days on market. Q1, it was close to 90 days. Today, when I pull the numbers to start the Q2 report, we're looking at 90 days plus. So if you speak to the real estate agents, they have the most accurate real-time data. Then you tie that into the other data, as I just mentioned. And this is how you should be looking at the data to be educated on what is happening in the market. And supply, and I know people are probably tired of hearing about supply, but the off-plan supply, but this is a huge factor that's going to cause a shift and change in dynamic in the market.
Interesting. Okay, so you mentioned in Dubai Marina we have 6,000 units
Under construction
that are coming in, and you said it is okay there, yeah?
Yeah.
Is there any areas where you see that they are in the red zone when it comes to the supply, or maybe we can call it oversupply?
Okay, so this is where I don't say oversupply, or I don't say in a red zone, because it depends on how you look at it. It could be a positive or it could be a negative. So for example, JVC. JVC today has 30,000 existing units. Sorry, 36,000 existing units. Existing, like done, completed. Under construction today, 30,000. So half of the the total amount of the supply that's existing in JVC, more or less, will be coming in as new supply by 2029.
I see, yeah.
So this could be, you can look at it in different ways. Okay, if you just say the numbers, someone can say, oh, wait, oversupply in that area. But think about it. The price per square foot in JVC has doubled in a year, more or less, a year and a half, because of demand. There's so much demand in JVC. People who live there love to live there. They don't want to leave. People want to move into JVC. So this new supply could be a positive. So it just depends on how you look at it. And when you get deeper down into the data, especially and unfortunately, we don't have population by area. That would be amazing if we got that from the government.
I think it's possible to get through Jari, right? But
yeah, you can get it through Jari. But
they don't open it to the public yet, right?
No, we do have the Ijari data by area, but you don't. So you have to track what is new versus what is completed or finishing, and that's where it gets a little bit complicated. Just like with the population numbers, this 100,000 since COVID year on year, so since 2021, we've had 100,000. Q1 of this year is 25,000, so we're pretty much on track for that 100,000 for this year. That's people coming in. So it's the gross number. We don't have the net. We don't know how many people are leaving the country. So it's kind of like, we don't have exactly all the data that we really need to really dig deep into what is happening into the market, but we do a really good job with what we have. So like I said, I don't say red flags. I don't say that there's a bubble. I never use those type of words because it's just a very different, so Dubai is a dynamic market, and a lot of it is based on sentiment, and it is based on certain occurrences and certain benchmarks of what has happened from a macroeconomic as well as a microeconomic perspective. So it's just how you look at it.
Yeah, honestly speaking, from 2020, every December, I was sitting with my colleagues and all of us were thinking, okay, done. Market will slow down. Market will slow down. Market will slow down next year. And from year to year, it's keep on proving that we were wrong. So it's very difficult for the guys who are in the market to predict where it will go. Because even I remember in 2021, in December, I was telling to my clients, guys, I think we need to sell everything that we that we have, because I'm not sure if it will keep on going. But Dubai is keep on proving that it is it's growing. But based on the data that you have right now, how do you see the current market situation in the?
So current market,
Dubai?
it's slowing. It's starting to slow down and stabilize. So again, I was looking at the Q2 numbers today, but we still have a few days left. And I know you're like, oh, it's just a few days, but it still makes a difference. And if you want to get it right, you close at the end of the month. But we only had a 6% increase in volume of sales transactions quarter on quarter. 6%. So we were typically used to seeing double digits in that aspect. However, if you look at the year on year, we're up 31% from last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
31%.
31% from last year. If you look at the median sale price, it's the same from Q1 So this is for secondary as well as off-plan. If you look at the median value, so the median sale price for a property, in off-plan, it remained the same. In secondary, it went up by 5%. So the numbers are marginal. Now, one thing that I was tracking in Q1 was the listing, average listing price. And it was going down month on month since September of last year.
It was going down.
Down, month on month, the average listing price. However, in April and May, it went up just a tiny bit. I'm talking about like 4%. And it's just kind of staying there. So again, not until I get more data and fully understand what is happening, I cannot say that this is what I think or this is what's going to happen because I don't have the full picture yet. But I will hopefully this weekend.
I think I have an answer why we have only 6% compared to the last quarter. The thing is that we have a lot of launches that are happening on the market, but recently developers really kind of slowed down. Like Imaris keep on releasing, but others are not releasing that many as before. And I'm even surprised that it's 30+% more than the previous year. And most probably there is a reason why developers are not launching that many projects right now. But I think this is the main part why it's only 6% compared to Q1. And like overall, like I think that we will have definitely a slowdown, and there are one important statistics on which I'm paying attention to, and I've recently been in US, and I can see what is happening in New York right now. Like guys are struggling there, the real estate agents, and they're struggling because of the interest rates.
Yes.
And like it kind of affect us as well. We will need to see if they will reduce it or they will keep on increasing it. What do you think about this?
So it's very interesting because in the States right now, mortgages is about 6 to 7%. Here in Dubai, it's about 4.25% to 4.5%. Even though we're pegged to the dollar, what happens interest rates wise in the U.S. is reflected here by the UAE central bank. So mortgages here are still much cheaper. Also interesting enough, and this is something that I was talking about in Q1, and it has carried over to Q2 when I was looking at the data this morning, half of the residential sales were mortgaged in Q2. It was also the same in Q1, which is very healthy. This means that the end users, the residents, are the ones who are buying properties to live in. So it's not the investors that are coming in and paying cash for properties or non-residents that are coming in who can get a mortgage, but it's a little bit on the difficult side. So half of the transactions that we're seeing today are being mortgaged, which is good. So I don't really see the interest rates affecting us the way they have affected the housing market in the U.S. The housing market in the U.S. is going through a significant time. I mean, it's pretty stagnant. It's had the lowest amount of listings ever recorded last year.
Oh, wow.
No one is selling. Because
ever recorded for which period of time?
For the entire time data has been tracked in the U.S., 2023 had the least amount of listings in the market. 2024 had a little bit of an uptick, but the problem is that nobody's selling there because if they sell their property, there's a few issues. There isn't a property for them to get into because there's very low supply. And if they are a mortgage, they're gonna typically go from a 3% mortgage, which is what they currently have, to a 6 to 7% mortgage. So
I see.
Who wants that?
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot of baby boomers that are sitting in these large properties that want to downsize. They have a lot of equity in these properties. And it's just, it's a crazy market, actually, what's happening in the U.S. right now. So interest rates for us here in the UAE, I don't really see obviously impacting the housing market because they are low. They are on the affordable side, I would say. And half of the transactions are being mortgaged that are being sold today in the secondary market.
Got it. Okay, can you tell us a little bit more about the company that you're running right now and what kind of services do you provide to the clients?
Yes, so I started Real Trust. Now, Real Trust came out of necessity. as I was working in the real estate technology Proptech sector, I saw a lot of gaps and pain points within the real estate transaction and the journey between the buyers, the sellers, the agents. But I never had the time to focus on it. And now this year I decided to, which is why we created Real Trust, which is basically a digital conveyancing and escrow services company. It's also a one-stop full real estate solution company where agents bring their clients to us and we help them with their golden visa, setting up property holding companies, foundations if they want out of DIFC. We help them with corporate tax advisory for the real estate. We help them with their estate management and asset management with will preparations. And we also help them with mortgages. So it's very easy for an agent to bring their client to us to help them with their real estate transaction from beginning to the end with the conveyancing and helping with all the paperwork and dealing with the developers and the mortgages.
Let's explain it more in the details because not so many agents had an experience to work with the conveyancing company. So basically, I'm an agent. I found the buyer, I found the seller. I have documents from both. I even took already the security deposit. Yeah? And from this moment, I can pass them to you, to your company, and you will put together the contracts. And you will help them to go to the developer to get the NOC and then to the trustee office and get the deal done.
Correct.
And you get as well the POA from both sides in case if it's needed. And agent can focus on his business, selling the properties, and not running through different entities and finding the final deal bill and other stuff, right?
Exactly. So we take care of all that admin process that is just a headache and a lot on the agent's shoulders. So the agent can do what they're best at, which is selling. And also everything we have is digitized. So once a client gets onboarded, they have access to their client portal through the CRM. And on this client portal, they see every step of the transaction in real time, and the agent is also updated via email and WhatsApp. So the agent knows what is happening at every point in time of the transaction, as well as the client. So if an NOC was asked for, if it was received, if the liability letter was received from the bank, the final offer letter from the bank, all of the steps are there in real time. So it also alleviates having to constantly be, the consumer being in the dark, which was one of the pain points and gaps of not understanding what was happening with their real estate transaction, calling the agent saying what's going on, agent trying to figure it out. No, we cut all of that out. It's fully digitized and we handle everything.
Okay, and there are sometimes of difficult transactions where like a lot of guys who are watching us, they are working on the offline market, and sometimes you need to pay something extra to the developer in order to get the NOC, to cover this 40 or 50% that are requested from the developer before they can issue the NOC. Yeah, and sometimes we ask buyers to cover these balances and then developer issues us the NOC. Can we give all this to you?
Yes.
To
everything
to handle?
Yes.
And obviously put it in the contract and take care. Amazing.
Yes.
Now let's discuss your escrow services as well, because it's a very big pain point for many international buyers. So if I'm a seller, I don't have or maybe a buyer, and I don't have a bank account in Dubai, I can come to you to cover these issues. Can you please explain how does it work?
Yeah, so escrow services is something that is not very common here. And basically it's facilitating the funds coming into the UAE or sending funds abroad from the UAE in a real estate transaction for foreign investors or even investors who are based here. For individuals who don't have bank accounts. So within a real estate transaction, let's say you have a foreign buyer who doesn't have a bank account here and a seller who does. So we accept the funds into a fully licensed and regulated escrow account out of DIFC and FCA in the UK. It's in the client's name. So it's fully licensed, fully protected. It's in the name of the buyer in this scenario.
Sorry, what do you mean in the name of the buyer? So you open a separate bank account?
It's an escrow account, yeah.
So in the bank, you open a separate bank account, for example, for Dennis, and Dennis sends there the money.
Yes. So we open up an escrow account for Dennis. It's in the UK. It's fully licensed under the FCA.
It's in UK.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fully licensed under the FCA. which is the financial authoritative body in the UK. And then you, Dennis, would transfer your funds. Let's say they're in euros. You would transfer it into this account. We do the foreign exchange. So we immediately save you anywhere between 2 to 3% if you had the option to send it directly to the bank here, which obviously you don't because you're a foreign investor and you don't have an account here in this scenario. So you transfer your funds there. And then from there, we produce a manager's check from the same company out of the IFC.
From the same company out of the DFC?
Yeah,
okay.
Because they have a branch here in the IFC. And then we produce a manager's check that we bring to the registration trustee on behalf of the buyer.
Okay.
That's one scenario. There's literally dozens and dozens and dozens.
Okay.
Sometimes if we have a buyer and a seller who are both overseas and neither have a UAE bank account, we create escrow accounts for each, the buyer and the seller. The buyer
Again in UK.
In the UK, in both the buyer's name and the seller's name, separate accounts in their names, and they each have a virtual IBAN number. And then based on the escrow instructions, which is built into the addendum into Form F, we take care of that transaction. So all of the funds in the escrow account for the buyer, including the registration trustee fees, the Dubai Land Department fees, the agent commissions, everything gets deposited there. And then we don't wire because it's in the same company. So it's an instant transfer from the buyer account to the seller account upon the successful closing, which we are there at the registration trustee. So we initiate it there at that point and it's instant. Therefore, the documents get signed. And then we pay the agent commissions and we pay the registration trustee and we pay the Dubai Land Department fees.
Okay, and if I'm the seller, I sold my property, I received the money to this escrow account. Do I have to receive this money only to my bank account, or I can ask you, hey, I have several installments in this and that project, can you transfer there and there and there?
We can do whatever you want, as long as it's within the seller's or within the escrow instructions.
There are some issues that some clients are facing because of their passports. For example, they are from Russia or from any other countries. Do you have any limitations in terms of with whom you can work and from where you can accept the funds?
So it's a case-by-case basis. So we do accept funds from Russia from certain banks. So we just need to know the name of the bank before we start a transaction. We make sure that it's not on the sanction list. If it's on the sanction list, we cannot. However, there's other routes. So we also convert cryptocurrency for property purchases. So we can either convert the cryptocurrency into a UAE bank account or into a manager's check or into any other bank account. However, if money is coming directly from Russia, if the bank is not on the sanction list, of course, we can accept it. And all our clients, we do AML checks, which is mandatory.
Okay. Anti-money laundering and KYC. Okay, and I assume the guys can find this information through your Instagram. How to find the company?
So realtrustuae.com is our website. Instagram, realtrustuae. LinkedIn, same. YouTube, there's a bunch of videos, and we also handle it not only for real estate transactions, but for also business brokering transactions. So people who are buying and selling businesses where they require an escrow account. The whole purpose of the escrow is to protect the buyer, the seller, and the real estate agent. It's a very basic concept. It's just been complicated for some reason here, and this is what we're making it easier for everyone and making it streamlined and of course fully licensed and regulated, which is the most important part.
So you said it's fully licensed and regulated, and it's licensed by whom in Dubai?
So it's various different companies based on the type of transaction. So we have sister companies, but we don't always use the same one. We actually deal with 4.
Okay.
Yeah, so depending on the complexity, depending on the type, we actually use one out of ADGM as well. That's licensed out of ADGM, yeah. So it just depends on the complexity, where the people are coming from, yeah.
And how can we as agents can quickly explain to our clients that it's super safe besides that it's licensed? Is there any warranty on this service or something like this?
That the escrow accounts are created in the name of the buyer or the seller, so in the name of their client. That is, unless you're using, for example, the account out of ADGM, and then that's through a UAE bank. So it's an escrow account in the UAE bank. It's one of the largest banks here in the UAE. And then the escrow is like a general pot, if you want to put it like that. which is how it is in the US, for example, when you're doing title and escrow. It's like a general pot where all the funds go into. However, the options that we have under DIFC, DFSA, and FCA is it actually goes into the client's name. And they can log into it. They have access to it. They can see it in real time. They can see their funds there when it gets transferred in. So it's extremely transparent. Got it. Yeah. And we're improving it every single day. So we're always trying to find better solutions. So right now we're working on a portal that's integrated with all of the real trust systems, where not only do they see the processes of their transaction, but they also see their funds in there once it gets transferred in.
Incredible. Lynnette, thank you so much for passing by.
I'm
really excited for this service that you are providing right now to all of the agents. And we spend too much time on different secondary market transactions.
We can still I have a whole list of notes. So
thank you once again for being here. And guys, find Lynnette on Instagram, and I highly recommend you to use her service and watch what she's talking about on the social media, because it's very important topics that she's touching that is related to the Dubai real estate market, to the data, etc., etc., etc. Data Queen of Dubai, thank you so much once again.
Thank you.